Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi as we continue to meet our coaches. The 2016 Southern Miss football staff put together by Coach Jay Hopson. Today we're going to visit with the guy that's going to be coaching the defensive line for the Golden Eagles, Derek Nicholson. And Derek, first of all, welcome to Southern Miss. Welcome to the Southern Miss family. Talk a little bit about your background. People always are interested, where you've been and what you've done and how you wound up at Southern Miss. But I guess start with you played at Florida State, played down there for Coach Bowden, and great football program down there.
I have a sense of football background. From Winston-Salem, North Carolina originally. My dad played for UNC back in the day from 78 to 81. And came out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and signed at Florida State in 2005 and was there from 2005 to 2008, played for the great Bobby Bowden, and got a chance to play some pro ball for the Atlanta Falcons, and had a significant knee injury. It was my second significant one, and then I got into the coaching industry. Coached high school football for a couple years, one in the Piedmont Triad, which is near my hometown, and 1 year also in Tallahassee, Florida. And then I got my first break at the University of Akron with Coach Model as a graduate assistant with Terry Bowden. As the head coach there, and it kind of went from there. Every year since then I've been somewhere else. I was at Louisville for a year. After that, at Alcorn State with Coach Hop, and then here now. But always loved football. Football's been a part of my life, been a part of my family life since I was born. So it's nothing like the fall. It's nothing like the fall. I'm very excited to be here.
How did you wind up at Southern Miss? I don't think I guess at Alcorn may have been the first time you were on a staff with Coach Hopson. Yep. But so how did you wind up at Alcorn with Coach Hopson? And how did you wind up at Southern Miss?
Well, the relationship, when I was a player at Florida State, our defensive coordinator Tony Pecoraro was actually a quality control coach at Florida State. So we was very close, me when I was a player there, and him as a quality control coach at Florida State. And we had that relationship built up for a long time, since I was basically 19 years old. So for the last 10 years, and then going through my playing career onto my coaching career, we always kept in contact. And when I was at Louisville, actually, they had an defensive line opening at Alcorn State, and Tony called me up and brought me down for an interview, and that was history right there, getting a chance to talk to Coach. One thing about that particular deal is when I came in there for the interview and I talked to Coach, I knew right away. Now Lorman, Mississippi is not the greatest place.
It's not Louisville, is it?
No, it's not the greatest place as far as, outside of the campus and football, as far as living. But, I told my wife, this is going to be an awesome setup as far as the coaching, great people, and I look forward to, working with Coach Hopson. And so he brought me down, he hired me, and last year we had a ball, learned a lot from him, great man. And Tony, we continued to build that relationship, and then when Coach Hop got the job, he called me, soon thereafter, and I, with no hesitation, I said, I'm coming, Coach. I'm coming.
I know we talked to one of these Meet the Coaches with Coach Pecoraro, and we talked about the success that Alcorn State had the last couple of years. What was the key up there with Coach Hopson to get Alcorn, that was a struggling program, to one that was challenging for the national championship?
The biggest thing, because I came in on the tail end of it, I thought was one of the biggest impacts that it was on me was just the family. The trust, the players really bought in to everything that came out of Coach Hop's mouth, and it was a big family. It was a true team. And that's the biggest battle you come in with in college athletics, is because every year you have a brand new team. It's not like in pro ball, sometimes you get the same core players on the team for 5, 10 plus years, but you have a new team every year, and the biggest thing is having a team that really buys in and trusts one another, and everybody's accountable to one another, and to try to get the same job done. Everybody has one task at hand, that's to win football games, and sometimes you can get individuals in that aspect, and that's when you don't have that true team. And the biggest thing in Alcorn, everybody was together. The coaching staff was very close. It was a big family atmosphere place, and the players really bought into Coach Hop and all the other coaches that was around there. And I think the environment around there was very competitive. It was very tough. It was throwback, hard-nosed, but it was a team, a true team, and I think that was the biggest thing.
That sounds like Southern Miss football, kind of play with that chip on your shoulder and, always kind of play like you're the underdog. And that's kind of what Coach Hopson had when he was here before as a defensive assistant.
Yep. Well, and some people say, play with a chip on the shoulder. I call it being paranoid for success. Knowing that there's thousands among thousands of people out there that plays the same position as I, or doing the same thing as I. And what can I do as an individual to distinguish myself from the pack to accomplish my goal? And I may have got overlooked in high school, or I may have got overlooked here, but they're still the same goal, and that's to win championships. And so what can I do on a day in and day out basis to make sure that no one's out there in the country at my position at what I do is outworking me? And so, being paranoid in that aspect, going to work day in and day out, going on your grind, make sure, you're outworking, you're out preparing your opponent. Those things is vital as far as, in having that mentality, that philosophy. I call it philosophy. It's who you are. It's your makeup. It's your habitual traits. It's who you are. It's your character.
You've got a lot of guys that come back from last year's team, a good nucleus up there on the defensive front. As you have gone through spring practice and some of the summer workouts and things like that, who sort of stands out? Who are some guys, at least right now, that you're counting on there in the defensive line?
Well, I treat my little deal more like a NFL deal. What have you done for me lately? I don't care what you did last year. Don't care what you did last spring. Right now is all that counts. You got to continue to get better. That's what I was just talking about. Continue to improve and being paranoid for success. But, Dylan Bradley is a heck of a football player. Continue to, he's probably the leader out of the group as far as, first in line, working hard. This summer so far, he's had a great summer so far, knowing that this is his last, stab at it. So Dylan's a heck of a football player. Xavier Thigpen is going to be a really big factor for us this year. He's a guy that's really, caught on to the scheme pretty smoothly. He's been a seamless transition, always asks a bunch of questions, gets a lot of extra time in on his own, which is things you want to see. I have a guy who's a upperclassman, a junior, who you need to count on. Jabari Poole's very talented, has God-given ability, has probably one of the most talented players on the football team. And he's starting to see the light switch click on, and he's got to continue to improve and get better. And a young kid that's going to be a pretty darn good football player is Ladarius Harris. He's only a freshman, strong as an ox, and he's just scratching the surface on what he can be. Has great potential, smart football player. He has a long way to go, but he's going to be a heck of a football player.
Hey, another guy that sort of fits in there, and he was hurt last year, Will Freeman, a guy who we might see on both sides of the ball.
Will's he's a jack of all trades. He got a lot of tools on his tool belt. And he was coming along very nicely and having a really good spring. And we decided to move him over because we had some depth issues over there at offensive tackle. But he's a guy that he's smart enough. You ain't got to worry about. Well, he's very dependable, and he's tough. That he'll be able to swing back and forth. And we're continuing to kind of touch him up on some of the defensive stuff, and he's meeting with us periodically. So he's a sharp guy because he's doing a little bit of everything. But he's one of the guys that can handle that. And he'll be fine.
Derek, what's your philosophy? Somebody tried to pin you down and say, what's your coaching philosophy? Does it go back to Coach Bowden and some of those guys that you were under at Florida State, back to high school, some of the guys you've been around in the college level? What's your philosophy?
Well, I kind of go throw back to old Mickey Andrews and kind of staple from there. But my deal is play with great effort, energy, and enthusiasm. Football is a game. And sometimes that gets lost in the business part of it and X's and O's. It's a game, and you got to play with great effort, with great energy, with great enthusiasm, with a true love for the football game. And particularly for my position, I tell my guys, we're going to play fast, physical, and aggressive. play fast both physically and mentally, play physical, and be very, very aggressive. Be the hammer and not the nail. You'll hear me yell that and scream that a bunch. Be the hammer and not the nail. Let them adjust to our style of play. We're not going to adjust to them, and and kind of go from there. So to put it all in a short little phrase: fast, physical, and aggressive, and play with a bunch of effort, energy, and enthusiasm. We do that, we'll be fine.
Well, the summer is almost over for long. A few weeks we'll be out there in August, and it'll be the preseason. Then the season is going to start in about 7 weeks. What are you looking forward to the most when you get back out on that field in August and start to get ready for the season?
The attention to details they spent this summer working on the craft. I've been preaching to them, every day you want to work and act like a pro. Have the attention to details in everything you do. Like I said, be paranoid for success. Don't let one day go by where someone's out there outworking you at your position. And, just the little things, feet work, steps, hands, eyes, so on and so forth, and see how those attention to details and practicing those things, those habits day in and day out through the whole summer, and how that carryovers when we start fall camp, because it's going to go pretty fast. And just want to harp on the fundamentals, the technique, and just kind of go from there and to continue to learn, the scheme, because we did put a new scheme in. So continue to sharpen up, on the scheme. We're probably gonna throw some new stuff in, clean everything up, and just hit the ground running and get ready for Kentucky.
Just listening to you talk, could see you love the game of football, and obviously the game days are big, but you like those times out there when it's 95 degrees in August, getting ready for the season too, don't you?
Now I'm a little weird. Now in practice in 2 days, you'll see me out there. I'll have a full sweat jacket on. It's 90, 100 degrees. I got sweatpants on. They're like, he's crazy. Well, I'm used to 8 pounds worth of equipment, cleats on, and all that whole nine. So that's just me. I love it. The hotter, the better. So 95 degrees on this football field in August, that's my type of football weather.
All right, Derek, well, thanks for giving us some time and getting a chance to know you a little bit here. I know our fans enjoy getting a chance to hear you talk a little bit and feel that enthusiasm and that excitement. But welcome again to Southern Miss and the Southern Miss family. Glad to have you a part of our football program. Keep up the good work. We'll look forward to watching those guys on the defensive front make a lot of big plays this year.
Yep, excited about it. Thank you.
All right, Derek Nicholson, he's the defensive line coach for the Golden Eagles as we continue to meet our coaches here, the coaching staff for Coach Jay Hopson in 2016. A lot of coaches to come, so if you haven't seen all our interviews with our Golden Eagle coaches, keep tuning in. We'll have them for you. You can get to meet them up close and personal. We'll see you next time here from the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi.